Hi guys, and welcome to another Elementor video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a nice little banner for you today. It's a sort of retro style banner. Make a great page heading or any sort of thing to get you. These would make great page headings or any sort of banner to get something noticed on your site. We're using a bit of code for CodePen for this today. Supplied by Yoav Kadosh. Apologies if I said your name wrong. Don't let the coding put you off. It's really easy and I'll take you through it step by step. Okay, well let's get started. I've got this page open in Elementor at the moment. So let's go in. I'll delete this little section that we've got here. And let's add a new section and we'll start from scratch. This will work with both the free version and the pro version. We're using the HTML module, which is available in both for this today. There it is. Left click, drag and drop. Okay, let's go and get some code. So I'm going to go over the CodePen. Obviously, I'll put this link below the video. I'm going to select the HTML here on the left hand side. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it back into our little HTML module. Now there's a few things on this I'm not going to use. I'm not going to use this grid here because it doesn't really convert very well, but I'm going to use everything else here. And with the SCSS here, we're going to want to convert it to CSS. And they're using H1s and bodies and things like this. I don't want to affect all the body on my site. So I might have to add a little extra class around this and do it that way. Because they're using body and body here. I don't want to affect everything on our body. First thing we need to do is convert our SCSS to CSS. And we'll use an SCSS to CSS converter for that. I'll put this link down below as well. And here we are. So we need to go in here, click inside the box, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and we'll paste this in the left hand panel of our SCSS to CSS converter. Control A to select everything that's already in there if you've got something in there. Control V to paste our code in there, and it's converted it to CSS on this side. We can hit the little copy tag or right click and copy, or Control C, however you like to do it, to copy our CSS. Now we want to go back to our Elementor. Now before we do anything here, I'm going to wrap this in a div and call it something of my own. So I'm going to drop down one. I'm going to open a new div above it, which is left pointy bracket, div. I'm going to give it a class name, class equals, a couple of inverted commas. Inside we can give it the class name. I'm going to call it retro. And close out the div there. And it puts a closing div right on the end when you put your closing tag in there, pointy bracket. I'm going to cut that, Control X, and I'm going to put it right at the bottom here. So we're basically wrapping everything we got there in a new div with the name of retro. That way we can target the CSS in a minute just for the retro, and it won't affect the rest of our H1s and body and things like that. So let's go in here, and we've got to add the CSS, so we've got to add some style tags. So that's left pointy bracket, the word style, right pointy bracket, and again, as soon as you put in the right pointy bracket, it puts in the closing tag. Only difference is closing tags got a / in front of the letters there, and all opening tags should have a closing tags. Okay, now we've got this here and we've copied our CSS. We can paste it in between the two style tags there. So let's go back to our converter and we'll get this, copy this again and pop it in there. And as you can see, it's made the whole page go extremely strange. It's because we're using this body HTML here. Well, I don't need that bit for a start. So if I undo that, Control Z, I've just deleted the body HTML from body to the closing bracket right there. Just going to get rid of that because we don't need it. And we gave our class name of retro up here. So I'm going to change this to retro because it's a class name. It's a dot and the word retro. It's starting to look a bit more like it now. Now I'm going to copy that retro with a gap at the end of it there, including the space after the O and including the dot. Control C to copy. And I'm actually going to paste it in front of our H1s and anything else. H1 here, so it doesn't affect the other H1s on our site or H2s. Okay, that's great. The grid, well, I'm not going to use that, so I'm going to get rid of this whole grid CSS right here. From the dot all the way down to the closing curly bracket there. Just going to delete that. It's gone. Great. Okay. Well, it's starting to take shape now and look a bit more like the actual thing that we had there. And I can also take the grid away from up here because we've deleted the CSS, so it's no longer there. Just close the gap. Okay, well, it's getting there. What we need to do now is go into our little section right here. And I'm going to change it from boxed to full width. I'm going to take away this background color and I'm going to give the actual section its own color. So in the style, let's give it a background gradient. You've got color gradient. Now you've got video and slideshow if you prefer. Okay. Let's make the black sort of purple. I'm going to do similar as I did before. And I'm going to make the bottom black. And let's make it a radial. So we've got our purple in the middle there. Okay, well, let's go in and just tweak that line so it's further over to the left and get rid of their background they've got in there. So let's just click on the module itself. In the style, in the retro right here, we've got a background color. We can simply take that away from the B of background all the way to the closing semicolon there. Select that, hit delete. There we go, and we've got our own background in there now. But of course, we want to make it our own. You want to change that text up there to say something that you want it to say. Let's just close up this gap. Go up to the top, and here's our span. We've got the shadow and the actual letters right there, so we'll just replace that with what we want it to say up here. Make sure you don't lop off those pointy brackets at the end. So I'm going to say web design. And I'm going to copy that and paste it below also. You can see the two different writings there. There we go. And for the text effect part at the bottom, tech tips. There we go. And we've got it. Now let's save our changes and see what we've got. Actually, before we do that, got a little bit of gap right there. So we need to pull that a bit left. If we look down again at the lines here, we've got left 0. Let's change that to say -10. It should put it across to that side. There we go, that's pulled that across. Let's update and check out our changes. That's fine, our line's stretching all the way across. We've got our nice little web design banner there and tech tips. Let's just check it's going to work on mobile and tablet. I'm using Google Chrome, so I'm hitting F12. That's okay. I'd like to see the actual text in the middle. That's on an iPad. Let's try it on an iPhone. And again, that's to the left. I think I'd like to see that in the middle, and that's our H1 right there. So let's go back to our page. I'll take my inspector off. And let's go. Okay, here we go. Here's the retro H1. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to drop down a line. I'm going to put text dash align colon center. Won't see anything on this end, semicolon. Let's just update that. Now let's check out our page again and see if it's not more responsive. F12. There we go, we've got it more in the center there. That looks a bit more like it. It's still slightly left there on the phone, but that's okay for me. iPad, yep, and that's better too. Take this off. So there we go, guys. There is how to create a nice little retro banner for your Elementor website. We've done this recently with the Divi theme. Somebody asked if we could do it with Elementor. And that would be a great page header or just a banner to get things noticed. And of course, if you want to wrap it in a link and take people somewhere, just at the beginning of your HTML up here, you can put an anchor tag in. An anchor tag is a left pointy bracket, an A for an anchor. Then we've got to tell it where to go. href or hyperlink equals. Open and close a couple of inverted commas. And inside there you can put your hyperlink where you want to take your visitors. Then we need to close out the tag, and it'll put a closing A tag in there, or an anchor tag. Again, we've got to cut that off, Control X, and put it on after our last div right there. That way we're wrapping the whole of our element in an anchor tag there. Let's just get a URL. I'll use this CodePen one, Control C to copy. I'll paste it in there. Now, best practice this, if you're linking to a page on your own site, you can leave it just like that. It'll flip straight to the page. But as we're linking off-site, best practice would be to have it open in a new tab so your site stays open. To make that happen, we need to add another little line, which is target, T-A-R-G-E-T, equals, two lots of inverted commas again, and inside we want to write underscore and the word blank. That will force that link to open in a new tab now. So let's update this. Have a look and we should be good to go. Now when I hover over it, you can see the hand icons there, so it means it's going to take us somewhere when we click on it. When I click on it, it should open this retro text in a new tab there. And there it is. Fantastic. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.